What you lot saying? Today we're going to be focusing on rotation, and I'm going to be showing you 3 rotation drills. Rotation is important when we punch because it helps transfer our own weight, which will give us more power in our punches. By the end of this video, you will be able to rotate. Let's go. For our first drill, I want you to get a piece of paper and draw an arrow. Don't watch that arrow, I know it looks bad, but just stay with me. Getting into your boxing stance, what I want you to do is place this where your back foot will lay. When you step on the paper should be facing sideways. Now when I cross, I'm going to rotate my body and most importantly my feet. Using your feet are going to be a reoccurring occurrence, and we're going to touch on this a bit more later, but it does make things easier for when you transfer that weight. You can use this also on your front leg for your lead hook, but for your jab it's really up to you, as I don't really think you need to move your feet when you jab, as in turn it or try to transfer your weight. Now I know you saw 2 papers broke, but trust me, when you're inside in your house the floor is softer. Bear in mind I'm outside, so don't watch that. Now quickly, before we move on to our second drill, let's actually talk about why I'm using my feet to rotate. Now what I don't want you doing is exaggerating the way you're rotating and becoming off balance, as this is a common mistake. You should be balanced, and when doing these movements you should be comfortable. As you can see, the footwork is slight and I'm not doing big movements with my feet. In MMA or Muay Thai or any other martial arts that involve kicking, if you're turning over your legs like this, then it's very dangerous and your legs could get shattered. However, in boxing we are lucky that can't happen, so you can turn over your feet as long as you're balanced and you are comfy. The most important thing to remember is that this is not mandatory, but your waist should be turning over whenever you punch. If you have a problem with lack of power, this will certainly help, as you are no longer throwing with just your arms, also known as arm punching. Am I saying everyone has knockout power? No, but people definitely have a lot more power than they think. Rotating is kind of like throwing an object full force. We're putting our entire weight into something and we're going to see the effects of our punches. For drill number 2, we're going to be using a broomstick, or we can use an umbrella, anything that will be long ways. Now what I want you to do is place it over your shoulders and I want you to stand side on. Now this is amazing for your cross. Now you're going to step as if you're jabbing, and then you're going to turn over your shoulders as if you're throwing across. And look at my feet. You're just going to take your time and work that technique. Look at my waist and my torso. That's a good way to tell that I'm turning over. I'm completely turning. I'm not still side on whenever I'm throwing. Now you don't have to step, but I want to keep it also realistic, as you should fight, spar how you train. Therefore I'm stepping when I jab and then boom, right hand. That is with perfect technique. Now for our hooks, because obviously what you care about our hooks, you little hook spam. I'm actually looking up at a monster right now. You're going to have to give me a second. I got scared, let me not lie. Now you may see people saying this is how you jab, this is the only way you should jab. And I think really it's up to you. Are you going to jab like that at someone with your foot facing that way, or are you going to just be stepping and planted? I personally don't think you need to, but if you prefer to do it this way, if you've been trained that way and you like it, then by all means jab how you want. Never listen to someone that's saying this is the only way. Remember, there are many ways. Now if you're struggling to rotate with your hooks, I got you. Watch this. Now you might look like a sausage while you're doing this, but trust me, I'm helping you out. We're going to place it on our shoulders, but at the front this time, and we're going to cross our arms over. Now we're going to turn on each side, making sure the broomstick's coming with us. It's guiding us. Imagine you're drawing a straight line with each side, and this is going to help you with your hooks. Now, as you can see, I'm turning my feet over. Now for your front hook, you don't really need to do this, even for your back hook, but like I said, this will just help us transfer the weight, and if you can do this in real time, then it will be good and it's going to add some power. Nevertheless, it's mandatory. I need that waist turning over. This is a great drill. Believe it or not, a lot of people do actually arm punch with hooks as well. Hooks are the real power punches. You can argue your straights are your setup shots, but your hooks, you really want to be able to dig into them and catch people. Now when you're doing these drills, make sure you put the broomstick down or umbrella, whatever, and you actually hook and try it without. It's always good to know. It's always going to be awkward at first when you're trying to perfect a punch. Remember that. I'm always getting comments saying, oh, my left hook feels awkward or my uppercuts feel awkward. You need to practice them more and more. The reason I have a good lead hook, or pretty much all my punches are good, they could be better, but the reason I look comfortable is because I practice these movements hundreds of times until perfection. No elbow flaring, hands on my face, the punch coming from my guard, etc. For our last drill, we need a resistance band. Now, I know you might have to purchase this item, but I'm going to place a cheap one. This is not promo, but this is the one I have. The link will be in my description, and I do recommend it. And I know you're thinking, listen here, brother, I don't have a ladder in the middle of here. I'm not in prison like you. I'm not actually in prison, but all I want you to do is wrap this resistance band around something, your bunk bed, a park, and look, we're just going to practice our punches, our uppercuts, and our hooks. We're going to break this down in slow motion. So when I'm uppercutting, I'm bringing it across to the other side of the band, and when I'm hooking, I'm bringing it over on top to the other side of the band, if that makes sense. Now this will teach you to turn over your punches. Another important factor of rotation. It's not just about your footwork or your waist. Also with these looping punches, make sure you're turning it over and your knuckles are landing and you're not slapping. As you can see, I'm turning over. Boom. That's one, that's two, and that is all on my lead leg. Now, just like with the other drills, you're going to practice without now. Pay attention to my waist. Damn. As you can see, I'm turning over the uppercut. It's not close to my face. And my hook, I'm turning it over. Now, with our lead hand, you see, I look a bit more looser, even though, you know, it's my weaker hand. I practiced. And I don't want you exaggerating. Don't get off balance now. You don't need to do anything crazy. Just turn it over slightly. Just imagine controlling someone's weight.
I mean, have you ever heard this much nonsense?
Throwing a ball in another direction. Now, if you don't get rotation on your first time, please take it easy on yourself. Whenever you're training, just take your time, please. Now, it's time for me to get out of here because I'm in a jungle apparently. Fucking hell, help me now. If you made it to the end, I love you, whoever you are. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, when training yourself, taking in any information and trying it yourself, take it easy on yourself, take it slow, and don't get annoyed. It's exciting to learn something new, and I think you shouldn't be that hard on yourself. Rotation is one of those things you will have to put some practice into it, as it takes part in technique. And if you think you're someone with no power, the moment you start rotating, turning over your punches, twisting into shots, you're going to realize, oh, I actually punch hard. Because you do. With that being said, that's me done. I'm gonna need you to work now. It's been Let Me Save You. Always remember, consistency beats motivation. I love you, my guy.